Hey, what's up, y'all? So let's get into the mess that we got, and that is we get into Tyler Perry, Divorced Sisters, season 1, episode 3, y'all. So now we continue where we left off there, and that was at Giovanni, at Giovanni house where we left off with her and what's his name, Giovanni. I think his name Giovanni. I finally got it right, y'all. So her and Giovanni are still, having their little combo while William is upstairs putting the baby to bed. And he asks, "Is that my daughter?" So what? What? What you talking about? What are you talking about? He went, "It's the baby mine." Because he went, "This not adding up." Because he went, "I've been gone for 6 years and I just got back." He went, Shane, the baby. Shane, what are you talking about? He went, "Because you know that you named the baby after me. You know that me and you were supposed to have a child together. We was planning to have kids together. If we had a child, we was gonna name the child and whatever that baby name is, that was the name that we were supposed to name the baby." And he said we didn't use protection. So he said that could be my baby. Say no. He went, no. That she went, no, that ain't true. That's not true. I want you to leave. I want you to leave now. He went, what? Oh, so what you gonna tell him? So I don't know what I'm gonna tell him. I figured something out. But during that time of that, he said, I ended up, he went, wait a minute, our plan was, he said, I've been missing you for 6 years. I've been missing you for 6 years. And I came back to get you. You supposed to be my wife. Mine. You supposed to be married to me. You supposed to be having this supposed to be what we supposed to be doing. Because I know you ain't happy. I know you ain't been this excited since you ain't had this much excitement. You ain't had this much excitement since I came. You ain't had this much excitement until I came back in your life. I said, damn. I said, well, girl, well, as this episode continues, baby, it seemed like if he was true. Cause I was like, whoa, girl. I said he was putting it on strong. That's when them acting skills came in. So as he was confessing his love, he said that, this was the plan. I left mine. He said, I left my wife. He went, I know you not happy. Tell me you happy. Tell me you happy. And she couldn't say it. She could not say that she was happy. She went, well, that was 6 years ago. That all she could say was that was 6 years ago. I said, girl, you ain't happy, girl. You ain't happy. You is madder than a mother. He said, I'll leave. You want me to? All you gotta say is leave. So William then came back downstairs. William said, "Y'all ready to go? Y'all ready to go?" He went, "Yeah, bro. Let's go. And yeah, he went, "Let's get this moving." So he went, "Come on, babe. It's time to go, babe." William said it's time to go. So we move on past them. So we get past them. We get into next up. Okay, we move on past them. We get into Rashida. So Rashida and Pastor Jeff are in the car on their way to the driving to the banquet. As they in the car, she ended up asking him, she ended up asking him, "Do you mean you love me?" She mean, "Do you?" I want to know, "Do you love me?" And he was like, he went, she went, "I want to know, do you love me?" He said, "You changed a lot." I said, I'm watching this like, wait a minute. Did this man just say you changed a lot? He said, you changed a lot. You changed a lot. I said, damn, girl. Red flag number one. Then Rashida was like, she went, what? He went, yeah. You know what? Yeah, what's going on? He went, yeah, what's going on? So what's the real problem? What's really going on? Tell me what's the real problem. She went, well, um, she went, well, let's be real. She went, okay. So she went, every time I try to talk to you about something, you always flip it back on me, like It's when you always flipping something back on me every time when it's something you done did, and I'm bringing it to you. He said, that ain't what I be doing. He went, that's not what I be doing. He went, I'll never be doing that. What you talking about? He went, that's not what I be doing. I don't do none of that, Rashida. I don't do none of that. I don't do none of that. I said, this man is crazy. She said, every time I be trying to talk to you, you turn it around on me. He said, no, I don't. She's like, yes, you do every time. And he do turn it. I said in that moment, he was turning around every time. I said, baby. Then Jeff said, Jeff went, all right, all right, all right. I love you. I love you, Rashida. I love you. I really do. I love you. I love you. Rashida said, Shway, you say it every Sunday. Shway, well, you say it every Sunday when you up there in the pulpit. And Shway, he went, no, I said, okay. No, excuse me, I messed up. So he ended up saying, I love you, Rashida. He went, I say it every Sunday. I say it every Sunday. It's boo on every Sunday. I said, wait a minute. You think because you say it every Sunday, that makes it like you really love her. That's a part of your service. That's a part of your sermon that you giving on a Sunday. It's just a normal thing because you trying to make sure you get money. And you try to show that you are faithful, honoring, fearful. You fear God, and you that faithful. You a good man. And so Rashida said, "Do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself?" Shmaine, that is you are just being performative. Shmaine, you just being performative in front of the congregation. I said, girl, yes, he is. I said, he sure is, girl. He very performative right now. She said, because when you just want them to think that you a good man. And Jeff was like, he want to say what you got to say, Rashida. And she said, if you did, I need you to show it. I need you to show it. I need you to show it. She said, I need you to show it, and we would be. I need you to show it, and we would be having sex. And I'm like, damn, baby. So, because you don't show that you love her, and you don't show it that you mean that you love her in any way that she ain't getting. You don't love her. This is what you saying. What she's saying to you. So Jeff went, all right. I'm sorry. It's that bad. Well, I'll do better. I love you. I said, this man crazier than you know what. Then he did that. I just want you to just show it. And just to show it more. And Jeff said, I get it. Sean, you get what? He went, you just want me to be more what was it? I think it was persuasive. I can't remember what it was. He wanted her to be, he said something. Yeah, she just shook her head. This man, he ain't getting it. So, I have your back. But you don't have mine. And he said, you ain't gonna ruin my night. I ain't about to go through this. All you do, he went, you know why we don't ride in the car anymore? We don't do that anymore because you always nag. You always got to bring up something. I said, what the hell is going on? This man just lost his mind. Because she said, hold up. Now, Shmaine, wait a minute. Shmaine, that's what a normal healthy relationship is. It's communication. Shmaine, that's what normal healthy relationship, what normal people do in a healthy relationship. Hey, well, you not gonna ruin my night. So when you get out this car, put on a smile and act like and act like yes, sis. I said, he went, I didn't give you the life. I didn't give you a good life. I said, dang. I said, oh, we going there. So I said, so at this point, Rashida didn't got mad, and she went, oh, so you saying you didn't give me a good life? So my grandfather was the one that gave the dowry for the church. Oh, well, she clocked that tea, and she went, don't talk about me about money. He went, oh, so you gonna throw money in my face? I said, wait a minute. I said they was such a kiki in their car. He said, oh, you gonna throw money in my face now? So she got quiet. He went, oh, you gonna be quiet now. So since you gonna be quiet, think about it, so when we get out this car, you don't ruin my night. So he went, so, because I can't see, I don't see you throwing no money on the table. She went, I just did. And she turned that radio on. I said, oh. I said, baby, I can't believe it. Oh man, I forgot my picture. I said, yeah, I got so caught up in this stuff. I forgot my pictures. Because I had the pictures. Wait a minute. Here we go. This was the car scene. So I said, baby, I said, the way she turned after she told him I put that, I already dropped the money on the table. He was mad. So after that, we move on to Naomi. So Naomi is at home. She didn't get all ready and prepared for the event. And her glam squad is there. And all of a sudden, they get a knock at the door. And it's the police. The police said, ma'am, we need you to step outside. She said, I'm not stepping outside. They said, ma'am, it would be easier if you stepped outside. So apparently there was a warrant to search the house. On top of that, her ex-husband, Franklin, yes, apparently during the because of the divorce, she was supposed to give up the house and everything. Everything. All she was supposed to get was that beat up car that was left. She lost her earrings that she had. She lost the jewelry she had on to go with the outfit. The lawyer was there. I said, he's a nasty motherfucker. So her glam squad, she threw the earrings, these yellow diamond earrings, into the bushes. She was so heated because he was giving all of that to his new wife, white girl. So, she ended up driving off, and her makeup artist, see her right here, standing up back there with Lil Bun. So she ended up calling Geneva. She called Geneva. Geneva is in the car with her hubby and Giovanni. They in the car together, and she actually ignoring the phone call, at this point. So she finally ended up answering the call. And as she answered the call, Duffy tell her, like, girl, Naomi, they then came and got everything. She went, I told her that they was going to do this. That was in the divorce. She went, I told her to have everything prepared. All she had to do was give stuff up, or they was going to come with the police. She said, yeah, girl, she down bad. She went, I'll call her, girl. So at that point, her husband was like, she went, I hope Franklin don't come. He said, William said, I'm going to call. I can call and check to see if he going to come. I don't know if Franklin they don't show Franklin calling to see if he was coming or not. But Giovanni in the back asked, could I help? And she went, no, you can't do nothing. He went, you sure? She went, nah, everything's good. I said, baby, I said, and William didn't pick up on that. I said, juiciness, juicy. So let's move on past that. Let's get on to Bridget. So Bridget is at the event, working, and this is her boo thing, her man. So she going through the seating chart, changing seats of different people and stuff like that. And Apparently, William did call. He didn't call to see if Franklin was coming. He called to make sure that uh, seats was rearranged. That Giovanni ended up sitting next to Tiffany. Yeah, because he trying to hook Giovanni up with Tiffany. Hmm. So yeah, so as she telling the crew what's going on, which seats need to be switched. The person that was helping her ended up seeing her man. Her man got on a waiter outfit that he wore to come to the event, and the man thought he was one of his workers. And so she had to come in and say, oh, hold up, Trey, no, he's a guest. He went, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. So he acting all hard and stuff, and like the man apologized and everything. He went, yeah, I'm a creator. She went, I think he heard you. He went, and he get mad because he went, you could have said I was your man. She went, what? You a guest. Nobody told you to wear this outfit. I said, girl, you don't really like him. You don't. But I said he got on my nerves in this episode. But I said we're gonna get into his messiness. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. Let's move down. Come on. Okay. So we move on to now. Now we get into all the ladies. So the ladies then now got to the bank. Everybody is arriving. So as they actually got here, they all then got there. Everybody's there. They ended up Geneva ended up calling Naomi. They finally called her and tell Naomi talks to them and tell them what happened. That he took everything, and whatever. So Naomi is at a corner store. Oh shoot, I didn't add it in here. It's okay. So Naomi was at a corner store getting her drink on because she was so distraught. And Naomi didn't feel like she was trying to debate. She went, my dress is ruined. And she like, I was coming to this banquet, but she went, I don't want to come now. And they got her to not come. So they said, we gonna meet you later. We meet you after the banquet. She went, okay. She went, I'll meet y'all after that. So they end up going to the banquet. So we move on past that. Oh God, I think something is out of order. Let me see. I think something is out of order. Yes, it is. Um, hold up. Hold up. Something out of order. As they were at the banquet, the ladies, Tiffany. Okay. Okay. So we'll just go back because I'm gonna have to before we get into this. Actually, the guy they show I don't have it in here. The guys ended up was at the banquet all together. So William ended up introducing the pastor Jeff. He ended up introducing Bridget, boyfriend Bud, I want to say his nickname is or whatever, and the guy that used to be his boss, Bud's boss, and right hand man, the pastor right hand man. They were all together, just chit chatting, and stuff. And Bud actually came up because Bud was looking for liquor, and he introduced himself to the pastor and whatever. He asked the pastor where liquor was, and because it was dry. These fake bartender. He said this is a dry. This is a church event. There's no liquor. He said, "Oh, God turned, Jesus turning water into wine." Where I said, "Oh God," I said, "He's so embarrassing." But that's what went on there with the fellas before the whole event started. So the pastor ended up and his wife, uh, Rashida and them, just trying to checking out Giovanni, trying to someone. I said, girl, your husband right there. So after all that happened, as they all sitting around at the table, we had Bridget. So Bridget ended up doing a little greeting for the banquet, and then her and her man, he trying to figure out where he was sitting. She said, you're sitting in the back. He said, why I gotta sit in the back? She went, quiet down, quiet down. She went, you better be glad you even here. Nobody told you to wear their waiter outfit. Looking like hell. I said, girl, you messy. You ain't want him to come anyway. So he acted a plump fool this whole banquet. He really did. So Rashida said, y'all sitting in the same table with us. So he sat down, he actually knew the ladies. They knew him, but he didn't know them, other than he met Tiffany. He met Tiff. And so as he's sitting there, he acted a plump fool. He asked Tiff, was she with Giovanni? And it was Geneva who said, no, they not together. I said, girl, what are you doing? Your man right here. I said, that's not. I said, this is getting awkward. Very awkward. So as they all just chit chat, Giovanni and Tiffany getting a little bit more acquainted. Oh God, getting a little bit more acquainted. They actually really getting to know each other and stuff like that, having a little conversation. They started to laugh, and Giovanni, she ended up saying, "What's so funny?" They went, "Oh," Tiffany said, "Well, we both ended up laughing because we both have the same heuristic doctor," and that really heated her. That really got under her skin. So she ended up spilling her water in the restroom. So when she went to the restroom, Rashida said, "I'm gonna go with her." So William said, "Okay, so fine. While you at it, find out what's going on with her, cause she been acting very strange." I said, "Why he ain't picking up? Your wife is jealous." But I said, "Oh, it was one more thing. Um, oh God, it was a picture. I'm so busy, caught up in this stuff. Here it go. Yeah, this was the one when he asked the question when they not together. It was the look. It was one thing I want to say. Get this out because I forget. This was the best. One of the best part of the scene was when Bud Eggs was Tiffany and Giovanni was together, and Geneva said, this is when she said they were not together. It was Rashida's face that said, girl, you married, right? I said, bitch, girl, why we doing this? Why you so upset, girl? You don't want the parts. So we move past that because I'm a little bit caught up in this stuff. So let's get into they go to the restroom. So as they in the restroom, this is where it get a little juicy. So Rashida asked, so what's going on? What's going on with Geneva? Geneva crying as she got in there. So Geneva ended up breaking down and telling her, William ended up inviting him here. William, he was at my house. William invited him here tonight. He also believes that my daughter may be his daughter. And Rashida looking at her like, why would he think that? Well, I actually slept with him 6 years ago. I said, girl, I slept with him 6 years ago. And I was doing the IVF, and it wasn't working. And she went, was it one time? She went silent. She went, Rashida also was more than one. Saying, yeah, so be a possibility. This be his. I said, you nasty girl. Because I said, it had, to me, when you gave that baby the name that he actually wanted to name the child that he wanted to have with you, you knew that was his baby. I said, you was a nasty heifer. Nasty. And she said, this whole night had to be over with. I'm getting it. I can't take it. This got to be over soon. So during all this, um, Tiffany ended up getting ready to go to the restroom. Get up to go to the restroom. Doing that, she ended up getting ready to go to the restroom. Come there, and she ended up asking like, "What's going on?" Rashida was like, "Girl, I thought you had to use the restroom." Sure, yeah, I do, but I'm just trying to see what's going on. She went, "Girl, go to the restroom." So after that, we ended up getting this scene next up, and that's this where the right hand man actually ended up telling Pastor Jeff that a big donor actually just for the new, because they're trying to get a new church, get money to build a new church. And after that, so Bud started asking him about the right hand about his jacket and how much it costs. He said, I got it from my wife. He said, I don't know. He said, you don't know a lot of things. So he's I said, oh God. I said, it was so embarrassing. Then he said shit. So the right hand really got mad about that. He said, you are very disrespectful. Don't talk like that in front of the pastor. And so at that point, he said, Bridget, take him out of here. So Bridget took her man out of there, but William was loving it. William like Bud. He liked Bud. So I think they're going to end up friends. And him and right hand and Jeff ended up talking. Jeff said, we're not judging him. He went, I'm judging him. He went, no, you're my boy, and we're not judging him. That's something we're not doing. Period. He went, I follow your lead. I said, it gave me, I'm like, are they screwing? I said, because that's what I'm getting. I said, that's what I get, that the pastor and his right hand screwing. And I said, it's so obvious that it is, because, this is a Tyler Perry. They said this is a Tyler Perry production. So it's one way or the other. At least two or three of these fellas are getting down. One way or the other. Because that's what it's given. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. But that's just me. How he acts is what I get, because he doesn't do what the first lady says, because the first lady is the pastor too. Rashida is, and he don't do nothing she says when she asks him to do things. He does what Pastor Jeff says only. And I said, that's weird. But that's just a little side note. So let's get into the next thing that we got. And we move past this thing to this one. Okay. So, oh shoot, did I miss? Hold up. Oh shoot, I think this is out of order. No. I'm good. I'm on place. Okay. So this is this part. So after losing the restaurant or whatever, Tiffany come out. Tiffany said, "Now, so girl, is you okay, Geneva?" Geneva said, "Girl, girl, I'm fine. I'm fine, girl. I'm fine. I'm good." She went, well, I just need to let you know that Giovanni, he is fine, fine, girl." And Rashida was like, Tiffany, saying, what? Hold up, girl, he fine. I said, huh? she, I think I'm ready to date again. I know, it's been 3 years, but I think I'm ready to date again. And I think I'm ready to date. I think I'm liking Giovanni, and Geneva. Looking at Rashida, girl. I said this. That girl goes. I said she she about to crash, girl. She about to crash. And Rashida, like, girl, we need. Rashida said we need to get back to the banquet. We need to get back to the banquet. We need to get back downstairs. We need to get back downstairs, y'all. We need to get back downstairs. And Tiffany said, so is Tiffany said, or am I wrong? Or is he lying? No, we just need to get back downstairs. She ain't. Better yet, y'all can tell me what this is later. Then and Rita went, yeah, we'll tell you later. I said, uh-huh. So at that point, this is when Bridget. So I'm a little bit out of place. But Bridget had a one-on-one with her boo thing. So he ended up apologizing to her. She told him, baby, you gotta go. He said, I'm so sorry. I ain't never been around folks like this. And she went, well, I'm having this one. This is a rough night for me. And I think you should just go home. And he said, I ain't never had I ain't never been around a pastor. I ain't have a really good man, in my life to show me the ways, show me the right ways. I said, that's some bull. Girl, I said, this man almost 30. I said, and he ain't got no job. Girl, he may be piping you down, girl, but I said, you need to wake up. Because I said, this man is a loser. But you want him. So he tried to say, he went, well, I'm going to just go home. He went, how you going to get home? He went, your car. She went, you ain't getting home my car. How you think I'm going to get home? So he got mad and went off. So now this is Mr. Franklin himself, Mr. Franklin Price. Naomi's ex-husband. And that's the new Miss Price. He cheated on. Yes. So she like, oh my God. No, this did. So he come into the whole scene. He ended up going, okay, so he goes to Jeffrey, him and her. And they ended up, Jeffrey was so excited that he made it because he's a big donor. I don't say he either, I don't know what type of businessman he is. He's a big time businessman because he was talking about a project overseas with Jeffrey. So he really needs his money to actually build this new church. So yeah. During a little conversation, we get some tea. This woman right there, she said, where is the dragon lady? So we got Tiffany and Rashida said, who you calling the dragon lady? What? Oh, I was just joking. Yeah. That dragon lady is Naomi. She's not here. And you are. I'm her good friend. And he went, don't worry about it, baby. Don't worry about it. They nobody. So Jeffrey then set them at their table with everybody else. So come to find out, this heifer got on Naomi's yellow diamond earrings that was just took it from her. I said, you gotta be out of your mind. And so Tiffany said, girl, them earrings would really look good on somebody with brown skin. I said, dang. I said, baby. I said, nah, I said, oh shoot. Oh shoot. I said, he's a petty man right there. That's petty. So check this out. We ain't done yet. But we got to kick it off because Naomi showed herself up. I said she showed her drunker than a skunk on the highway trying to get crossed. She said, I know y'all ain't sitting here talking to this heifer. It went off, y'all. I said, baby. I said, baby. I said, I hope she don't jump over that table. They trying to, I said, the girl's trying to get her and say, girl, this not it, girl. This not Naomi, girl. Naomi, girl, calm down, girl. Calm down, girl. We got to get up out of here, girl. Girl, calm down. Don't do this. Don't do this, girl. I said, oh, God. I said I kind of understood why she was so mad and why she's been on this tyrant so bad to want to take him down. I said, because the way, I said, that's crazy. But I said, it's just getting better and better. I said, I just hope Tyler Perry don't mess this up. I said, because this episode right here was actually good. I said, it was a lot of talking. I said, it was a lot more talking than the first two episodes. The dialogue was long. Definitely the part thing with Rashida and Jeff. I said, I ain't never wrote so much stuff in my life. I said, God, that was like 3 pages. I said, oh, Lord. I said, okay. But y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, and join the channel. It's your boy, Paul. Thank y'all. Y'all have a great night, morning, whatever time it is where y'all at. But bye, y'all.